why do I send my Pokemon cards to PSA for grading? We'll go over that as we go over my next PSA submission. It's a pretty small sub compared to usual, but the main reason why I send to PSA is because of the liquidity. Just because I can get rid of it faster. This is what people are searching for. Now, people always like, do you have a PSA 10 Umbreon, or do you have a PSA 10 Rayquaza, you know, or PSA 10 Charizard? Hopefully this guy gets a PSA 10. The centering was a little bit meh, but no one has ever asked me, oh, do you have a CGC 9 or 10, like, Moltres? You know what I mean? Everyone usually asks for PSA. And when I, like, maybe in the future, maybe next year, like, I don't even like Pokemon cards, which is like, this is not going to happen. Pokemon is life, bro. I don't really know why I was sending this one in. Just have some variety. It was a pretty clean card. It's only like $80 in a 10, but this is New Zealand dollars, by the way. And what if I want to sell it, you know? My collection and like how I'm collecting is, I want to have stuff that I can get rid of pretty fast, because what I've learned over the whole year selling Pokemon cards, it can be, you sit on cards for a while. You usually don't buy, sorry, we're going to go like back and forth into like the questions. I don't usually pick up like the new sets pretty fast, but this was a pretty clean copy, and this guy's only like $50 in a like raw. So I was like, how much lower can he go? Whereas like stocks, you can just like sell your stock straight away and get your money back. But with Pokemon cards, it takes a while, especially if you want to get market. Now, if you want to sell everything at like once, your whole collection, you're not going to get full market for it. This is why like I can buy collections from other people at a lower percent. And this is why, like, this is how like the reselling works. You buy a whole collection, you do the work of selling it individually as close as you can to market price. Now, hopefully this Charizard gets a 10, because last time I sent like a Charizard like this in, it got a 9, and I was like, bro, this is bullshit. But yeah, so that's like the main reason, is because people are always like, and even though, yes, PSA is not like the most, I say, consistent with their grading, or that doesn't have like the best like clarity with like how they give their grades, because sometimes you like, one gets a 9 or one gets a 10, and you're like, bro, how did that get a 9 or a 10? Or even like a 6 sometimes, and you can't even find like the fault, and then there's no reasoning behind it. Well, yes, and like tag will have like better transparent, far out. I was trying to find my words. Again, this card is only worth like, I don't know, $100 in a 10, but there's only like 90 of them in a PSA. I'll have like the top, I'll have one of the 100 of them. Then we got 2 Reshurans. We go through these 2, bro. So sometimes I've been sending with Ace, and you'll be like, oh, but you can send with Ace sometimes. Mainly it's because they're PC, and I like the Ace work. I like the extra, like, I suck at talking. Extended artwork. I think it looks really nice, but even then, like the PSA markup and the Ace markup is not as big as like the PSA. I can see a little bit of a white, little bit up there. I'm gonna put that to the side. And if I send to Ace, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't think it's going to get a PSA 10. So I think it might get an Ace 10, because they're a little bit more lenient with the centering. So sometimes I do send it to Ace for that reason. And it's just like some variety too. But again, no one has ever asked me, do you have like a Reshiram and an Ace 10? You know what I mean? So, and even though they are more transparent, like tag and stuff like that, and yes, you can still argue that they're using AI for their grading, but humans are making that AI. So there are still going to be markups. So I've seen a markup from tag. So there is still going to be like fault, you know? And PSA is the way, bro. PSA is the way. This is the way. Bit of Japanese, 151, can't really go wrong. Hopefully these all get 10s, the Japanese. So whether you like it or not, PSA is still like #1. Even though they aren't as transparent as the other companies, I think CGC, I don't know why you would grade with CGC. All the CGC stuff that I've had is hard to move. I bought some for like a couple months, and it's kind of like popular Pokemon. Still doesn't move as like well as other like PSA or even like Ace. Yeah, so hopefully this Mewtwo gets a 10, but the centering, again, it's just a little bit iffy. All the newer sets, the centering is like kind of bad, in my opinion. Now we got some Japanese. We got the Mega Lucario, which is sick. I love the Venusaur flying in the background there. I want that in English, and I just bought this in English, and I sent it off for Ace, because the centering, like I said, in the newer sets is pretty bad. Even though this is not like the flash, is a bit thicker on this side versus the other. Yeah, but that is why. And the CGC is like, they've gone through so many scandals with like grading fake cards. So I don't know why you would want to grade with CGC. The Pristines like go for a bit of a premium over like PSA 10s, but I'd rather get a PSA 10 and like rather than like running the risk of like getting it just like a CGC gem mint 10. Yeah, because again, more liquid and those don't move as well as just like a normal PSA 10 would. So that's my reasoning. Now I got a couple of Dragon Ball Z cards. Now if you're grading Dragon Ball, probably don't go PSA, but I just do PSA because it's easy. I just send all one person, he does it. I pulled this card ages ago from a box topper, but I put him in with no penny sleeve. This is in my early days of collecting. I just put cards straight into top loader, so I'm not going to be surprised if he gets a 9. But if you're grading Dragon Ball, usually Dragon Ball has like real good print quality, so you want to chase that black label from Beckett, or even a gold label, but because they go for a bit more of a premium. Pretty easy to get a PSA 10 Dragon Ball Z card, especially the newer stuff. Maybe not this kind of older stuff here. This is like a scorecard, an old, like you would call this like base set of Dragon Ball Z. This is a sick card. I like the high-tech full. Just picked this up at a card show on the weekend, so I was like, I'm gonna grade it. I've never graded a scorecard ever. Only Masters or Fusion World, so it'd be interesting. But yeah, so there's like different cards I would send to like different, if I was doing it like properly, I would send to different grading companies. If you want to see me make a video about that, you should. Do you guys like the merch? Check out my website. There's probably going to be some new listings on there, and join the Facebook group Insane Legends. And that was just a quick video of why I send to PSA. If you send to someone else or you don't like PSA, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.